And we started relating it to Scottie Scheffler and what he said before the Open Championship, where golf is not the most important thing in his life. If he was to stop playing golf, he would be absolutely fine. And it's funny because I kind of went through that to where for a week, almost 2 weeks, I would say, just completely stopped playing golf. Did not pick up a club. Through this process, part of it was because so swamped at the agency right now, which is a great thing, being busy on that side of things. We even had a little bit of a hiccup through this process where I couldn't train for a week. However, with everything I have over that 90-day period, I just want to tell you, I got a DEXA scan done, which if you don't know what a DEXA scan is, you get all your information about your body when it comes to just fat, how much fat you have. It gives you a 3D rendering as to like where the fat is on your body. My DEXA scan showed that I had lost 12 pounds of fat. 12 pounds of fat while maintaining my lean mass and muscle mass, which both increased slightly. He's been awesome throughout this process with giving me the guidance that I need. And really, it's funny because when you think of the mental side of the game, I always kind of looked at it as, you need like a mental performance coach. You need somebody good there. The golf coach is just as much like a part of the mental aspect as well with you. Really building that confidence and so forth. So I give a shout out to Josh is his name. Thank you so much for everything that you do and you've done for me. I'm greatly appreciative of it. Welcome back, everybody, to Pull Hook Golf, the podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cook, and tonight it is just me. It is a solo episode, and it's something that I preach to all podcasters that, hey, if you can do a solo episode, it is the most difficult thing to do as a podcast, as a show, and something that, especially if you don't script it. Right? If you don't script a solo episode, it becomes very challenging, very difficult, even more difficult to do live, which we are doing right now. And no, this is not scripted in the least. So this is going to be a fun episode. It's going to be a little bit of a test, but at the same time, I wanted to take one episode to kind of take you guys through. We have kind of a lull within the golf space right now when it comes to tournaments. We're getting prepped up, ready to go for the Ryder Cup. We just had the Procore Championship this past weekend, and truth be told, it was a little bit anticlimactic. So we will talk about that at the very end of this episode. We'll talk about the ramifications from that outcome, and we'll get into that side of things as well. However, we do have a bit of an agenda here tonight, which we're going to be going over a few things. And one of those things ends up being my personal 5 a.m. comeback. And that's why, for instance, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm just going to give myself the mic tonight. We're going to go ahead and have this broken down. I don't know the exact term there, but we will get this really. A lot of people have been asking me because I haven't been posting as much content in regards to my daily routines and so forth. That's going to start to pick back up a little bit, I believe. And I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about that on tonight's episode. But before we do, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. I'm rocking right now the Devereux Golf Johnny Walker collab. It's the t-shirt. The collaborations between the two. Now, keep in mind, these are two of my favorite brands. Johnny Walker had been my favorite scotch for the longest time. So make sure you're over 21 years or older. Drink responsibly, everybody. And that being said, they did an awesome collab with Devereux Golf back at the beginning of the year. It was a huge success. They obviously relaunched a brand new collab with them. I believe this is their third collab now. And the stuff, you got to check it out at DevereuxGolf.com. And get this, if you are an audience member and you're listening to this right now, you do get 20% off your entire order over at Devereux Golf by utilizing the promo code PullHookGolf20 at checkout. Once again, that is PullHookGolf, which is the name of the podcast, 20 for 20% off at DevereuxGolf.com. You can see the collab up here with the hats. They've got a cardigan. They've got polos. I'm going to be rocking what I deem as the US side of things with the polo next week. So you'll be seeing that. I also want to give a shout out to Rokform. They've been unreal with us. And folks, use the promo code PULLHOOK2025 over there for any speakers, phone cases. I know the iPhone 17 just came out. iPhone 17, iPhone Air, and then also the iPhone 17 Pro. Awesome cases over at Rokform.com. Once again, PULLHOOK2025 is your promo code for 20% off over there. I use the speaker all the time, just over my left side here, and that thing is unreal. It's the G-Rock speaker. I also use the golf magnet. If you go onto their golf section, they've got this stand that it's a golf shaft. You pop it into the ground, but it's MagSafe. It connects to their cases as well as to an iPhone, and you can record yourself. I use it all over the place. I use it for my mobility stuff with Stark Health. I use it for the personal training sessions that are virtually as well. And I got to tell you, it makes it a breeze because it attaches to anything metal, and then you just pop your phone on there. Makes it easy for recording content. So all the 5 a.m. comeback stuff that you see is probably being recorded using a particular product. So if you want to have the same, go over to Rokform.com. That's ROKFORM.com. PULLHOOK 2025 for 20% off. All right. Special episode because today's day 90, folks. I've been doing this for 90 days straight for the 5 a.m. comeback over at Stark Health. There's been a lot of partners within this with me, so I don't want to sit here and say, I've done it all myself. I have figured it out. It is all me. All I've done is followed exactly what I've been told. I have eaten what they've told me to eat, and I have also done all the training sessions that they've asked. We even had a little bit of a hiccup through this process where I couldn't train for a week. However, with everything I have over that 90-day period, I just want to tell you, I got a DEXA scan done, which if you don't know what a DEXA scan is, you get all your information about your body when it comes to just fat, how much fat you have. It gives you a 3D rendering as to like where the fat is on your body. My DEXA scan showed that I had lost 12 pounds of fat. 12 pounds of fat while maintaining my lean mass and muscle mass, which both increased slightly through that process. I will say Todd Vandehei, who is the CEO and founder of Stark out in California, him along with his team of doctors, nutritionists, chiropractors, and trainers really are the difference makers here. I have done personal training. You have seen people that I've brought on for golf-specific training, which I absolutely love and I believe in. So when it comes to golf performance and so forth, working out, getting your body right, for me, this is a transformation. So I needed something to go even further. And that's where the doctors, nutritionists, chiropractors really come into play, as well as their training program. They've built me, and they can build it for any type of athlete or anybody that's looking to get back into sports. I know there's a lot of executives out there that listen to this podcast that are like, hey, how's that 5 a.m. comeback coming along? You know, are you still training? I haven't missed a beat when it comes to the training side of things. And I will just say, like, the results, I'm blown away by the results. And here's the great part. We're only getting started. So as this continues, I'm going to be posting more content, especially as I learn more. That's the one thing about this podcast I don't know if everybody has known, is that I am an observer and I'm a learner. I just will try to be a sponge to everything I possibly can, which is why commenting on and providing you with my observations about professional golf and the game is one of the most, and I know this isn't a word, but the funnest parts of this entire podcast. I love being able to take my knowledge, what I'm actually seeing, what I've been taught, what I've been told, looking at different opinions, and breaking it down from my point of view and my perspective. So the same thing's going to happen with the 5 a.m. comeback, from the teachings and trainings from not only the personal trainers, but from Todd himself. And if you do want to learn more about Todd Vanderhei as well as Stark Health, he's got a great podcast called Health is a Skill. And it really is. I've never understood the name of that podcast until I started going through the training, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea my diet was this screwed up. I had no idea that my body was in this bad of condition, like getting all my blood work and labs done and everything. I can't tout them enough. And I just go to LA, or actually Newport Beach is where I go train with Stark Health. And they've got another location right there in Tustin as well. But doing it virtually, I go in once a month in person, just to make sure I get the blood work done. I get DEXA scan, I train, I get mobility done with the neuromuscular chiropractor. That's one of the most important things as a golfer, being able to move your body in the way that you need to. And I'm still not there from a mobility standpoint. So I'm still super tight, super wound up when it comes to the strain of the muscles and so forth. So again, as I kind of go through this process, I'll be sharing with you kind of a lot around just my observations and the way that I view certain things within this and what's important, just so that I will show you the pathway if you're somebody that wants to start getting back to a healthy standpoint. Like, I know there's a lot of golfers out there that, you know, aren't necessarily at the peak of their health and want to get back into it and want to play better. So that's going to become part of not only this podcast, but the content that comes out around the 5 a.m. comeback. But I do also want to give a shout out to some of my partners along the way. So not just Stark Health, but Trot Golfer, who's on here right now. I want to give a shout out to him. I saw him earlier today, was out there getting a golf lesson from him. He's been awesome throughout this process with giving me the guidance that I need. And really, you know, it's funny because when you think of the mental side of the game, I always kind of looked at it as, oh, you need like a mental performance coach. You need somebody good there. The golf coach is just as much like a part of the mental aspect as well with you, really building that confidence and so forth. So I give a shout out to Josh is his name. Thank you so much for everything that you do and you've done for me. I'm greatly appreciative of it. Also want to shout out Jones Sports Co., which they have been with me kind of from early on. I mean, when Bobby Brown was a co-host on this show, and was a PGA Tour caddy, he was the one that connected me with Jones Sports, and they've been great ever since. So they're my golf bag now, and I absolutely love it. So definitely check them out when you get a chance. Custom Golf AZ, my guy Ruben over there, who has refinished my golf club. Some people are like, wow, you're playing really old blades, Titleist blades. And I'm like, absolutely. They've been refinished. They look gorgeous. And full shout out to him. He's been doing clubs for me for a while now. Also helped me with the fitting with my driver and getting that all dialed in, which today, like, Trot will tell you, it was absolutely dialed today with the driver. Did not miss many fairways out there when we were going around. And we happened to, as a team, just a little update around the grass league and how that training is going and everything. It's going well. I will say that my goals and priorities with all of this have kind of shifted a little bit. And it's bigger than golf with this 5 a.m. comeback. The one thing that I will mention is that we went out there today as a two-man team and shot 6 under through 9 holes. So we missed a reasonable eagle putt and 2 really reasonable birdie putts. There was 1 birdie putt that we missed from long range. But that being said, I'm getting to the point to where I'm getting excited about golf, and everything, as I mentioned, is bigger than golf. It kind of started out as, hey, I want to make the grass league next year and be a part of a team and so forth. Now it's really kind of shifted because I'm like, man, after winning a member guest, it really just, the winning part wasn't it for me. So digging a little bit deeper and making this a little bit deeper is something that was certainly something that needed to happen, naturally happen, and the evolution of it is currently ongoing. And I'm starting to get some passion back around golf and not be playing scared to where it's like, oh, every shot matters. It's so important. And that's been a lot of work done with Dr. Lee Piccarello. Want to give a shout out to him. He has been phenomenal for the mental side. We recently had a breakthrough this week, actually, and it was perfect timing around it to where everything's evolving and really becoming bigger, like I said, than just golf itself. Want to give a shout out to Swing Shift Indoor Golf Club. That place has been a home for me for a lot of the training in the mornings and just has been great. Putting wise, Well Putt, I want to give a shout out to them for giving me some putting mats. Shafts, KBS, best shafts in the industry, especially in irons. I absolutely love them. So want to give them a shout out for providing me with golf shafts. Rokform, the health side of things with Vibe. You might have seen, I've got a clip on Instagram from Vibe with the Vibe device. And I've used that quite a bit in recovery and so forth. Media production wise, giving a shout out to my company, Mission Matters, who I work for and run an agency for. They're doing all the media production now for the 5 a.m. comeback as well as for the Pull Hook Golf podcast. And that's pretty much it. So I wanted to give you guys a quick update. And I did mention a few episodes ago that, I was filming all these Instagram stories every single day, trying to just keep up with everything I was doing. And it just felt like it was becoming a burden more so than alignment with the actual project and everything that's going on in the transformation. Now we're starting to get back into that side of things. So we're also bringing on an intern to start filming some stuff as well. So we'll see. It's going to be, once again, this is continuing to evolve and gets bigger and bigger as I go along. So I appreciate everybody that's reached out about it, everybody that has, gained something from it. I'm doing this for myself, and it is something to where, like, at the end of the day, if nobody sees it, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm doing it because I am somebody who wants to better myself through this process. And so far, it's absolutely happening. And I hope that continues and the evolution of me continues and you guys all get to see it. And if you guys get anything out of it, that'll be absolutely icing on top of the cake. With that said, as the evolution has continued with me personally, I do want to take a moment and just acknowledge Charlie Kirk's death. I don't care. Here's the disclaimer. I don't care which side of the fence you're on politically. First of all, I'm not a political person. I always have felt like I am Switzerland when it comes to it. And when it comes to my own voting style, I have voted on both sides of the spectrum. And I always just go with whoever is the best candidate at the time. So I do not belong to either party. So I want to make that very, very clear, as we get into this discussion, because this is something that with Charlie Kirk's death and the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it's transcended politics. It's made its way into the golf world. Phil Mickelson has made comments, which I know he tends to be on the conservative side. Matt Vincenzo, who now is part of Live Golf as a writer, he's made comments in regards to it. And the thing is, if you know me and you know this show, we've been pretty adverse to Live after kind of embracing them early on, trying to give them a chance. We've kind of moved on from them. And with that, those guys are obviously on the Live side of things with golf. And I fully agree with some of their comments that they've made in regards to Charlie. I think it is wild that anybody who has looked at his content and actually spent time actually getting into watching full things, not just a snippet or a quote that was taken out of context, because that happens often in our day and age. And here's my plea to everybody. is don't let this be a moment to where you're choosing a side. This is a moment of humanity. This is a moment, and it hit me really hard, and I don't know why. That's the weirdest thing. Like, I was not a Charlie Kirk follower. I did not watch a ton of Charlie Kirk content. Every once in a while, it would show up in my TikTok feed as I would post something on Pull Hook Golf. It would pop up every once in a while in my Instagram feed. Like, I do not spend a ton of time on social media. I purposely try not to because it tends to be a cesspool of negativity a lot of times. And that's where I just hope. And when people are celebrating a death of somebody, I look at it, I'm like, man, I feel bad for humanity. I feel like I'm sad that people, you look at this and you think this is a good thing. It's a horrible thing. And anybody in media should be saying the exact same thing because somebody took out someone because of their voice, because of their opinion. We live in America. We have the freedom of speech. We should be able to say what we want. And even if you are celebrating somebody's death, and I get that that's part of freedom of speech, it's just wrong in this instance. It is dead wrong, but I do hope that people can heal. And I do hope that those people can be enlightened with the fact of, wow, that is really wrong. And I just hope that as humans, we can all come together within this. And I do hope and look forward to hopefully a better day to come. Because again, I don't know how anybody, no matter what side you're on, can view this as a good thing. It is a devastating thing. And again, it is transcended into sports. We see the New York Yankees, we see the Jets, we see all these teams that are doing moments of silence. So it's transcended politics, it's into sports. And I think that's a good thing because there was a human being that was taken for their opinion. And that's something that we cannot stand for as Americans. And if you do, I really hope that somehow, some way, you can see past eventually and move on from that opinion and change. So I'll leave it as that. But it is wild as I've kind of been like, now I see more of the sides to everything when it comes to politics, which I've never done before. Again, this is not a political show. We've never talked politics outside of potentially a golf swing of Donald Trump, right? I don't like politics per se. I'm not into it, but seeing the sides very divided when it not only comes to this, but it's like, wow, it's eye-opening to the whole thing. And it's kind of changed my perspective on the game of golf as well when it comes to PGA Tour Live Golf. And just like, wow, like the division is not good. That is not good in the game of golf. It's not good in America. It's not good in politics. And again, I just hope that at some point as humans, we can look at each other as humans. Like I always looked at the divide in golf as kind of being an entertainment piece. Like I never really sat there and took it all that serious. I know some people did. Like some people have just an absolute hatred for the other side. But that was never the intent. It was always for entertainment purposes on this show anyways. And it's like, it's okay to have an opinion and not like something. But to hate something and be divided from it, that's where I draw the line personally. So again, this is an interesting solo episode to where I felt compelled to have this conversation. And if that makes us lose followers, listeners, I don't care, because that is not what I'm doing this for. And I will say that like that was something to where, especially over the past year or so, you get so kind of drawn into numbers and trying to grow the show and everything. And I'm past that in a lot of ways. And it's like, these are some of the important topics that I feel like, and just so that you know that, hey, like this is affecting more so than just the people you think it might be. Moving on to some golf. Finally, right? Finally, some golf beyond my personal 5 a.m. comeback, beyond the terrible, tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk, getting into the Procore Championship, one of the coolest tournaments, I feel like, that doesn't get enough. I feel like it's at the wrong time of year, too. It's just like, man, the season's done. Go up to Napa Valley. It's kind of like the first tournament, as it's almost like a reward for the players. It's like the Century tournament that apparently is not going to be happening as the first tournament next year because of the drought happening in Hawaii. I just saw that news being broke by Scratch today, but apparently that event is getting canceled. At least not going to be played in Hawaii, but a tournament that's, in my opinion, I look at it as this is kind of a similar thing where it's like, hey, this is a reward for anybody who wants to go up to Napa Valley, have a great weekend with their family, play some professional golf, potentially win a bunch of money. I'd say from everything that I've heard from players and caddies, it's a fun golf course to go play. And we had yet again Scottie Scheffler, who decided to play because he's getting ready for the Ryder Cup. The U.S. team had everybody come out to Napa. So even Bryson showed up in Napa, even though he couldn't play, and even though he had those comments in regards to not being able to play. I believe Xander Schauffele was the other one who did not play, to my knowledge. I did not look so hard into it before tonight's episode around that. If a guy wants to take off a week, I'm okay with that. Like, especially a couple before the Ryder Cup, as long as they're getting their game in shape and so forth. And especially if they didn't think that this tournament was going to help them prepare for the Ryder Cup, which it's probably not. It's not a similar golf course. Very different in that respect. So, yeah, nonetheless, Scottie Scheffler decides to play. Scottie Scheffler wins. The bigger story here, in my opinion, is Ben Griffin, because this is going to be his first Ryder Cup. Was selected to be on the team. Does he deserve it? Sure. Absolutely. He deserves it. Anybody in that top 15, I feel like, deserves a spot in the Ryder Cup. And granted, you can only get 6 additional picks outside of the top 6 that are on the team automatically because of rankings. So Ben Griffin, all he's got to do is 2-putt to get into a playoff with Scottie Scheffler. As soon as I saw him doing and stepping around the hole in between his line on like a 5-foot putt, maybe 6 feet, if I'm being generous, and he's doing aim point, and I'm like, and the announcers are saying that this is an easy putt. Don't give away the hole. I'm just sitting there, and he's going to miss his putt. The pressure gets to people in a certain way, and here's the thing. How bad is this going to hurt him heading into the Ryder Cup? An absolute pressure cooker of an event that's unlike pressure you face any other time. It's different pressure than a major, different pressure than trying to get a win. It's just different. You're doing it for your country. The fans are absolutely going berserk. It's match play. I'm just like, man, this is going to be either a great thing or a horrible thing that this happened right before the Ryder Cup. Man, I played so good. There were so many good things to do. Every single time from people that have been trained mentally properly. You're going to get that in PR training, whether they have their agent and their team around them. I saw this specifically with Jordan Spieth. He always said the right things early on. And he had a great team with Jay Danzy and Jordan Luitis. Those guys were great around him, but they helped him so much with the messaging as to what to say. And so I look at it, especially in this situation with Ben Griffin, I'm like, man, how could this be used as a good thing? And what's the potential? If he doesn't handle this mentally properly, process it properly, spins it in that positive way, this is going to be a huge detriment to him and the U.S. team, because as soon as he gets over a 6-foot putt under pressure during the Ryder Cup, you better believe that's going to be running through his head. Now, you may be asking me, well, Matt, how do you do that? Well, I will bring on at some point Dr. Lee Piccarello. We were talking about it during our session on Monday morning. We always meet Monday mornings, and he gets my week started off right. And we were talking about this. We were also talking about Scottie Scheffler. We were also talking about the 5 a.m. comeback. And he was asking me in regards to, filming and stuff like that. Like, he noticed that the stories weren't as much and so forth. And we started talking about kind of the evolution to everything and how it's gotten bigger than, worrying about making a team on the grass league next year. Is that still one of the goals? Absolutely. And we started relating it to Scottie Scheffler and what he said before the Open Championship, where golf is not the most important thing in his life. If he was to stop playing golf, he would be absolutely fine. And it's funny because I kind of went through that to where for a week, almost 2 weeks, I would say, just completely stopped playing golf. Did not pick up a club. Through this process, part of it was because so swamped at the agency right now, which is a great thing, being busy on that side of things. Also taking a trip to Newport Beach to go to Stark in person and really focusing on the training. I did not pick up a club, but that was also partially because I was saying, like, man, the member guest that I won, like, everything was like being built up, that was so important at the time. And then not having another tournament to look forward to immediately thereafter and start training for, there was like this letdown of like, well, what next? And that made me really kind of dig deeper. So I've really seen how Scottie Scheffler, with that mindset, it becomes so damn powerful. Because now you're not stressing over the small stuff in a golf tournament. And you can just go out there and perform your absolute best. And Dr. Lee Piccarello talks about, with me especially, you don't want to be on the extreme of either side of full excitement that this matters so much to you. And you also don't want to be on the other side of it to where you are so uninterested and it doesn't mean anything to you. The best performance happens right in the middle. And that's something with Scottie Scheffler that we're seeing live and in action. And for Ben Griffin, it looked like that moment just mattered so much to him. It was everything to him to try to get into that playoff. And again, if all of a sudden we get to the Ryder Cup and that comes out, now I'm a big believer that you got to be putting yourself in that situation to learn enough about yourself and keep putting yourself in that situation until you succeed. So at least he put himself there, right? And that's why I think this could end up being a great thing for him. And if he goes to the Ryder Cup and he overcomes a 6-foot putt under pressure that he has to have, that's going to set him up for next year and really being able to overcome and get that first victory, or a victory, I should say. Not the first victory. I don't think it's his first victory. I could be wrong. I wonder. Trot, if you're on right now, if you could tell me if Ben Griffin has won a golf, I can't remember for the life of me. I feel like all of a sudden he has one, but I'm not quite sure. I want to say that he has. So with that, that's the Procore. That's the situation there. I do see Scottie Scheffler just absolutely being able to be dialed when it comes to the Ryder Cup. Because again, unless he just lets it get too big in his head, I think he's going to have a massive Ryder Cup this year. But what's interesting is, so the U.S. team had everybody go out there and try to get everybody to play in the Procore. Meanwhile, Europe has everybody flown into Bethpage, and you can see them as a team goofing off. I think there was a clip of Terrell Hatton who was about to hit a drive, and all of a sudden somebody farts in his backswing. And they're just having an absolute blast. They are just absolutely embracing it. And again, it kind of goes to the individualistic side of the U.S. Ryder Cup team. And I'm not saying the U.S. Ryder Cup team is doing anything wrong, by the way. This is just my observation as to what I've seen. It's kind of, go to the Procore as individuals, play in that as individuals, get your game in shape as individuals. I don't know what they're doing for team camaraderie in the evenings. Could be awesome in Napa Valley. Maybe having some dinners, drinking some wine, getting to know each other even that much better. And then going to go over to Bethpage Black. But the European team traveling over here, going and practicing out at Bethpage as a team. They know how to do the team thing. That is for damn sure. I mean, that's one thing that I don't think is debatable, that the Europeans know how to be a team. And maybe it's from, when the guys are traveling around on the European tour, the DP World Tour now, that they all had this camaraderie to where they'd all hang out together, all go out together. That doesn't happen here in the States on the PGA Tour. And I know a lot of these guys obviously have come over and they play on the PGA Tour week in and week out. But they also, we heard it from Bobby Mack when he first came out on tour, that it was very lonely, didn't enjoy, traveling around. It wasn't like the European Tour. So I don't know if that has something to do with them and their bonding and how they work together as a team and so forth. But that's one of the areas that I think should be looked at by the U.S. team. And, if there's a way to get these guys to bond even more, I am very curious over this next week to dig in, learn as much as possible in regards to what's going on team-wise between the U.S. Ryder Cup team, the European team, and then to report back to you guys, bringing on Botsy and Brent and really getting into the Ryder Cup on next Tuesday's episode. So really, until then, I want everybody to just be a good human being. I mean, that's what I'm striving to be at this point in life, is just to be the best version of me that I can be. And that was the big breakthrough this week, is realizing, oh, wow. Yeah, golf is not the most important thing. Not for me. Really shouldn't be for anybody. And so with that, I hope that everybody has a great evening. And remember our sponsors at Devereux Golf, rocking the Johnny Walker Golf Polo. Utilize the promo code PULHOOKGolf20 at checkout for 20% off your entire order over there at DevereuxGolf.com. And then also on the other side of things, we have Rokform with the speaker right over here, the golf magnet, iPhone cases, and so much more. And by the way, their iPhone cases, they attach to the cart. So you don't need a magnetic holster for those. Same with the speaker. Great stuff over there. You can utilize the promo code PULLHOOK2025 for 20% off over at rokform.com. That's ROKFORM.com. And until next time, everybody, peace out. A-Town down.